It is back to school time, so today I thought I would do a quick video on some good tips to help your child transition from summertime to back to school. Whether they're starting a brand new school or just, the adjustment from summertime and those long summer nights to, schedule and school. So first, what I want to say is, as parents, we need to remember and understand that transitions are difficult and can sometimes be very stressful. So as parents, we need to be patient. We need to give our kids some time. We need to let things settle. And we also need to, at times, validate or be empathetic with them. Maybe for the young kids, name their emotions of how they might be feeling if either one, they're, the first day and they're really, really anxious, or, they come home after 2 weeks and they're stressed or just discouraged. We need to take time to really sit with our kids and validate, empathize, be patient, help them problem solve if that's what they're looking for. But, for this time of going back to school, it does take a little bit of time, maybe a month or even 6 weeks, to really help our kids transition from, summertime into school. I also think it's helpful to create a transition ritual with your kids, even if it's just for the first 6 to 8 weeks of school. And this can just be from the time they get home. What is something they can do to kind of unwind and relax and step into the home instead of carrying in all their stress from either school or even from aftercare? Think about it. As adults, when we first get home, what do we want to do? We want to stop, we want to take a deep breath. We just want to have that time to kind of let down and let the stress of the day kind of leave us so we can be present with our kids or our partner or spouse. And kids want that too. So, take some time and create a transition ritual that will help them transition from school to home. And, you can come up with 10 minutes of, funny questions or silly jokes, doing something where there's laughing together, or just taking some deep breaths where you're going to go into your space and the kids get to go into their bedroom or space and, hug their stuffed animals, or, just take some time on their own. That's okay too. Dinner time, if you go from home and right into dinner, have the kids come into the kitchen with you and help them or give them a task, something light that helps them participate, because sometimes kids, when they get home from school, they just want to be with you. They've missed you too. So, do something where you're interacting with one another, and you and your child or children come up with what that ritual is. And guys, it only has to be 10 to 15 minutes. It's not a long time, but this is an important ritual that you're creating that really will help your children and also help your relationship with your children. So take that time to really sit down and create a transition ritual. The ritual will not only benefit your child, but also will benefit the relationship that you have with them. You're teaching them a good life skill of how to transition from one task to another. You're giving them some stability. You're creating a schedule. You're just giving them some good tools to help them feel grounded from going from work to school. So again, create that transition ritual. I think it's really important. Also, if you're starting a new school, please address any anxiety that your child might have of going to a new school and meeting new friends or new schedules, or just, the newness of starting fresh somewhere. Your child might have some anxiety about that. And also any grief or loss issues they might be experiencing from, their friends that they had to say goodbye to, or if they moved into a new area. Again, it goes back to listening and being empathetic and validating with your child. And, you're going to teach them some good coping skills. If they're feeling anxious at school, just teach them to take a deep breath, stop and breathe. Or sometimes I tell kids, like in the midst of school, to kind of squeeze their hands and then release as a way to help them cope with anxiety, or if they're feeling anxious. And nobody really has to know what they're doing. They can take those, squeeze their hands and release under their desk, or go to the bathroom and do it, just as a way for them to help process their emotions that they might be feeling. The other thing that I think is really helpful for kids when they're starting school and back to school, and it's helpful for parents, I said earlier, creating that schedule. And also it's important to get a good night's sleep. Sleep is super important. A good nutrition, what you're eating for dinner as well as what are you eating for breakfast. When you have a great healthy breakfast, you're ready to go for the day. And just, at nighttime as you're getting ready to go to bed, just teach them again, what are some things that they can do to relax. Reading a good book and sitting and reading with your child is not only good for their reading skills, but most importantly, it creates a good bond between you and your child. And it helps create that routine for your child. So, it creates a schedule, it creates a routine, it creates a really healthy bond between you and your child. And again, you're teaching them a good life skill on kind of how to start preparing for the next day when you set up a bedtime routine for school time. To highlight the important tips of today and going back to school, the one thing I want to stress is please be patient with your child or children. Going back to school can be stressful. It's stressful for parents as well because you're creating a whole new schedule. So it's important, like I said earlier, to create a transition routine or schedule, and it only has to be 10 to 15 minutes a day, but it's something that's really important between you and your child. Have fun going back to school. Please comment below and let me know how you're working on transitioning from summertime to school, and what is one thing that's been helpful in terms of setting a schedule for your child. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my page and get weekly videos on everything involving relationships.